everyone, welcome back to the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision. On the prototype and on the layout. My name is Gerald Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for episode 28 of season 2027. This features some work on the through truss bridges crossing the Weber River at Taggart Mountain, as well as some preliminary work on the Interstate at that same location. And of course, then a complete overview of the entire layout. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. All right, so here's some bridges that I built for going over the Weber River at Taggart Mountain. And this is a Central Valley kit that I put together. It took lots and lots of hours. I would say probably at least 30 hours to put this together. It was took a lot of time, a lot of cutting of pieces and making sure the pieces were cut exactly the same angle and everything, and making sure everything was as straight as possible. Here I'm trying to match the color. I'm getting close, but not quite exactly where it should be. But anyway, this bridge, as I was looking at the prototype pictures, it is just a little too old and too spindly. As you can see, this is one that's built in 1902, and I don't think that the bridge that actually crosses the Weber River was built in 1902. I think probably built a lot later and built to handle a lot heavier loads than with this spindly bridge. After I put it together, I really like this bridge. It's really cool looking. I like the all the very fine lattice work and everything, but I kind of came to the realization that it wouldn't actually fit very well. Here's the prototype, and as you can see, it's much more substantial than what the Central Valley kit is. The beams are a lot, especially the diagonal beams and the truss beams are just a lot more substantial and don't have the cutouts and so forth like the Central Valley Bridge does. So this is a Walther's kit. Again, a through truss, and you can see it's just definitely a lot more substantial. This is a more modern bridge, and I think it just matches the prototype so much better than what the Central Valley does. Now the lattice work here at the top is not as fine as the Central Valley kit. I'm not sure if that's because the ones built more modern are just thicker, or if it's just a Walther's using thicker lattice so it's stronger and easier to work with or whatever. But this Walther's kit, even though it's not as detailed maybe and not as fine a kit as the Central Valley, it definitely went together much easier. I think I maybe spent 10 hours total on both bridges. So I did build two of them, and I'm going to go with this more substantial. It just matches the prototype so much better than what the Central Valley Bridge does. And I'm going to have to continue to work on finding the right color for this bridge and see if I can match. I think the color I've been using here, you can see the detail. There's some really good fine rivet detail on these, and so I think it's going to be good. Once it's painted and everything, I think it's going to look pretty well, pretty realistic. Again, you do have some pretty good. It's hard to see a lot of the detail when it's black like this. Once I paint it and weather it and so forth, it'll look a lot better and be able to see a lot more of the detail. Now, one thing I am going to do, the prototype does have a little bit of lattice work. There's my throttle for the 4 trains on the layout. But anyway, a couple of the diagonal beams do have some lattice work on them, whereas the kit does not. So I want to add those. This is some Central Valley box girders that you can just buy, and I cut off the lattice part of the box girder. And here you can, it fits perfectly in here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these into this section so that you have the detail of the lattice on the diagonal. Now only 2 of them have it on this prototype. Those 2 right there, and then on the underside. So I'm going to put some that lattice there on both sides of those, and on both sides of that one, and then underneath this one here. So it'll be 6 pieces for each side, 12 for each bridge, 24 total. I'll have to cut out and put those on there, and then figure out what color I'm going to actually paint it. Alright, now I also have this Interstate I'm trying to put in here, and if you look at the prototype, there is Interstate right outside of the Taggart Mountains. So I used some hardboard here, went in my garage and got my big compass out and drew some curved lines to match a overpass. Now this is all the width you need. I actually went on to Google Earth Pro and measured the width. This is about 12 and a half, 13 inches. There's a bug crawling across my... This was a weird looking bug. I ended up killing it because I thought maybe it was this queen ant or something. But anyway, so this Interstate's only about 12 and a half, 13 inches, which matches the dimensions. So that is enough room for the median between the 2 lanes, 4 lanes total, and then also a shoulder on both sides. And so I went ahead and cut that out, and I kind of left myself some options here. Trying to there you can see the pencil marks where I wanted it to go. And it was a little bit outside of that at this point, so I needed to kind of move it in that direction. But I worked out pretty good because I needed to cut this corner off anyway. I was trying to put it in place and making sure everything lined up, and everything was kind of like parallel here with the tracks, and then to curve over. So just kind of putting it in position and trying to figure out exactly where I needed to cut it so that it would fit against the wall. I think it came out to about 12, 13 inches, so this is 14 inches. So I figured I need to cut off 4 inches off the end, so that it would line up with the marks that I have on there. Here you can see how I cut it with some flexibility so I can figure out. Alright, now I have it cut at the end there so that it is flush up against, and it's at an angle there, but I just use a piece of cardboard and put it up against there so I get the right angle. That was pretty easy. And then I want to hit it just kind of like right at the fascia. Here's a piece of cardboard that I put over on the end to kind of make sure I got the cut correct to be flush. And then this is kind of where I wanted it to go to hit the fascia exactly. And then I try to match it over on this side too. I have kind of 3, took me 3 tries, but I did get it pretty well. If you notice now, I do have the cut on this side, and then I just need to cut. Actually, I didn't cut this side because it's going to go closer to the fascia. So to get that angle cut perfectly to go up against the wall, I just put the cardboard up against there and drew a line. Made sure the cardboard was square. Again, I didn't cut that right part off because it's going to come in contact with the fascia. Here I also put some framing on there. I knew if I got this hardboard, it's only 1/8 of an inch thick. If I got it wet, it would warp. So you can kind of see where it's going to be cut still. to kind of match up with the fascia. So the fascia is going to come up to that point and then go back down as it meets with the rest of the fascia. Now, one thing, I did make it wider here because this is going to be a devil's slide. So here's the actual interstate. It's going to be where my hand is. And then there's going to be a exit here. And then there's just like a viewing area. Now, this is per the prototype. The devil's slide is going to go right there. And there is a little exit. Now here, you notice I can only reach this far. So building scenery back there is going to be almost next to impossible. So I'm going to build it outside of the layout, and then I'm going to place it down in there. So I'm going to just build the devil's slide on a piece of plywood. Make sure the plywood's cut to the curvature of that backdrop. And that's basically, when I get it done, place it into the hole. There's of course going to be some, this is where the ground contour is going to come. Now, one thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to put a mirror right here at a right angle to the road, so that when you look at it as it goes up against the, there's where the backdrop's going to go then. So it's going to be a mirror right here that's going to reflect the image of the interstate, of the actual interstate. So that will appear to go into the wall. And then I'm going to put a little backdrop there, here, and on this part here, and then put some trees to kind of mask the fact that you can't see the interstate there. I got it all figured out in my head, how it's all going to work. But my goal is to get the bridges in place and trains running over the bridges, get it painted the right color. Could be interesting doing that. And then also want to make sure I get the interstate a little bit more in line. All right, now here's a complete overview. This is that staging yard there was Ogden, and the Riverdale yard points west, and the first town is Morgan, which you saw there in the corner. And then we come up to the Weber River and the Weber River Canyon. This is what I've been working on most recently. And then Taggart Mountain and the tunnels through Taggart Mountain. This is, again, my most recent work. I also did, before I did the lower level, I did the upper level there, which we'll get to shortly. And here's the interstate I've been working on. Once I get all that done, that section there, then I'm going to move down, do the upper level first, and then the lower level. On the lower level here from Devil's Slide, it goes to the Devil's Slide control point, and then crossing the Weber River again. Here you can see a picture of what this is going to look like. And then you have wholesome cement, some switching opportunities going on there. And then this is going to be Echo, and the beginning of the Echo Canyon. So at Echo, the main line turns, and instead of following the Weber River, it follows Echo Creek, which created this canyon. And here's the part of the Evanston sub where there's a highway that travels alongside the railroad tracks, and then the rock work. Here you can see another picture of it. Here the road's going to go off the layout and then back on. And then in between, I'm going to put this rock that you can see there. That could be interesting. And then this is Emory control point. The road goes across the tracks here. So that's basically right there is all the scenery I have left to do. The rest that you're going to see now is pretty much done as far as basic scenery. All of this scenery is going to get more detailed done to it once I get through all the basic scenery. So once I get that section from Devil's Slide that I'm working on all the way down to Emory, here we have the control, the curvo or the flyover where the main lines cross. But once I get all that scenery, basic scenery done, then I'm going to start weathering cars and locomotives, get as much rolling stock weathered as possible, and then I'm going to go all the way around the layout again, and then just add all kinds of details, scenic details, bridges that I haven't put in yet, and just get everything covered. So this, then from that Castle Rock area all the way up to here, that's the Wasatch Grade. This is the Wasatch Control Point, kind of one of the summits on the Evanston sub. The second summit is at Aspen, which is the overall summit of the entire subdivision. This is coming into Evanston. This is the UTLX repair facility. And then we're on the outskirts of Evanston. See the excursion train going by. Something is really, well, I think that's the big boy light generator that makes that high-pitched sound. Sounds like wheels too, maybe. Who knows? Definitely some wheels squeaking. Anyway, then into Evanston, there's the maintenance facilities at Evanston. Again, all this is going to get another overview and getting a lot of details at maintenance facilities. These buildings, they all need to be completed, weathered, details added. So that's after I get to all the scenery done, all the equipment weathered, then I'll come back and complete the buildings, add details, make sure everything is looking good. All right, so that's all of Evanston. There's a 7-track yard and a maintenance facility, and here I'm going to show you how the crossing works. I'm going to have 2 more crossings like this with automatic crossing signals. Might just put my hand there to block the photo sensor. Get it to actuate. Here you go, back to the Wasatch Grade. All right, then from Evanston, it goes through the furnace room and then comes up here at the upper level. Now, we have basically at this point gone all the way around the basement and have continued to climb the entire way, and now we are above where we started. And we're going to go around the basement a second time. Here's the Aspen tunnels, and then the Aspen control point. As I've been working on the scenery, I've always been doing the upper level first and then the lower level. That has worked out pretty well. The upper level is mainly just about 10 inches wide. There's a couple areas where it's wider. Here's one case with the, here we're above the Taggart mountain area with the interstate and everything. This is going to be pretty cool, I think, with interstate going across. Don't see very many interstates on layouts. Hopefully this one will look pretty good. This is the train is on the Pocatello sub, which junctions with the Evanston sub at Granger, which is what this is going to be here. Here you have the Granger control point. Won't be a whole lot of switching here, but there will be the interchange trains entering from Pocatello and then exiting off of the Evanston sub onto Pocatello. This is just going to be Wyoming, flat, barren countryside. And then this is going to be the West DeVaco Trona plant with a little yard and a loading track and a empties and loads track. Worked on this turnout here a little bit, that's why things are kind of messed up. All right, here we are above the Castle Rock area, and the upper level does not go above the peninsula, it just goes across there. So you see the excursion train go by again. So here you get a good view of the entire layout. 2,200 square feet for the entire layout. I've been working on this for almost 3 years. All right, now we're back on the other side of the peninsula. Again, this is the upper level Wyoming countryside, pretty barren. And then we come to the end. Here's a kind of get an idea of the wide aisles on the layout. And there it goes back down and through the helix. You can see a train coming up the helix. There's 4 turns at about 1.9% grade. Once it goes down the helix, then it goes into the staging yard. And this is all one big staging yard. Once it comes down to the staging yard, then we're back at the same. This is the Green River end. So trains going westward from here are Green River, going west towards Riverdale. On the other side, you have Riverdale going east towards Green River. Okay, so here you can see goes under the stairs through the other end. And then we are back where we started. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. You get hopefully an idea of what's going on the layout. Take care, everybody.